Right guys, here's just a quick overview of the parts I'm going to be using on this build. Obviously we've got the Vitus CRX disc frame there, carbon frame, carbon fork. Got the Hunt Aerolite disc wheels there. We've got Ultegra R8000 chain set, R8020 Ultegra hydraulic brake calipers there, front and rear, R8020 hydraulic shifters, cable shifters, hydraulic brake. Obviously Ultegra front derailleur, R8000 rear derailleur, Dura-Ace brake discs, Dura-Ace chain. At the minute it's 1130 rear cassette, R8000. We got Ritchie C220 aluminium stem. Got Ritchie Stream Comp bars. And we got Adidas Superleggero seat post there. Obviously it's fitted the Shimano bottom bracket, press fit there, bottom bracket. But that's a quick overview of some of the parts we're going to be using on the build before I start piecing it together. There you go. So 7790 without the pedals. Right, so that's the bike there complete anyway. So I haven't got a chance to go out on it at the moment due to the fact that I haven't got any pedals on it. I mean, I could swap them off another bike easy enough, but I'm just going to wait till the actual pedals turn up for it so I can go out on it, try it out. I say it should be alright, but we'll give it a test, see how it performs anyway, see how I get on, see how I like it. But I'll just quickly show you another bike I've got to I'm going to build up, so I'll just quickly show you that. Right, so here we have the next build I'll be doing at some point. This is as you can see, Vitesse Evo. Obviously this is a rim brake bike, no discs on this. Just going to be built for race purposes, this one will be. Now this happens to be obviously it's internal cable route and it's all carbon, lightweight, lightest frame that they did. So as you can see there, that's painted on, they're not stickers, it's painted with the Victoria sign like that on there. So it's on the seat stay there as well, as you see. It's UCI obviously frame as well, compatible frame, so this one actually uses a press fit 386 Evo bottom bracket in these. And this was actually I've forgotten the word I was going to use then. It was actually a neutral service bike, that's the word I was thinking of. For the Tour of Britain this was, so neutral service bike for that, hence why it's got, like I showed, the Victoria signs already in the already under the paintwork. So I've got a picture of them somewhere, don't know if I've still got it, I'll see. A picture of them where they're all lined up. See if I've still got it actually. On my phone I sort of had a picture of it. I managed to find a picture of them when they was lined up to be used when they, for the Tour of Britain it was. So hence here's an ex pro frame. Well, that's what they was built for anyway at the time. Hence it's still got the that one's still got a number on the top of it there. You can see number 1, that's not a sticker, it's in the paint. Right, so here we have the Vitesse Evo build complete. Well, almost complete. Just got to put pedals on it basically now. And that's it really. I'll run through the build. Got Dura-Ace, obviously R9100 levers, chain set down there, brakes, and then we've got an R8000 GS rear derailleur there, and an R8000 rear cassette, which is a 1132, happens to be on there at the minute. Obviously Dura-Ace front derailleur. We got Elite carbon bottle cages of FSA seat post. We got Ritchie stem aluminium, Ritchie bars, Stream WCS bars, WCS stem. See FSA headset, Dura-Ace cables. At the minute it's just running DT Swiss wheels. I'm in the process of building some other wheels up. They're going on here. They'll be lighter, especially the back wheel. Be a lot lighter than that one anyway. But I say, I'll weigh it and we compare it to a disc brake bike. I have weighed the frames, complete bare frames as they were. So I know the weights of the frames as well, so see what the saving was between the two, obviously running discs and running caliper brakes. So it'd just be interesting to know the difference in the weight of the bike, so I know the frames. I don't think there was much in it really on the frames, so it'd be interesting to see. So I'll go ahead and weigh it and see what it comes out at. Obviously no pedals, the same as the other bike. So direct comparison. Right guys, so there's the two bikes complete for you there. Now you saw in the video there in the clips that the weight of the disc brake bike was 7,790 grams, and the weight of the rim brake was 7,255 grams. Now obviously I weighed the frames before I assembled the bikes, so I know the weight of just the frames, so which I've got written down. So the disc frame was 1,750 grams, and the rim brake frame was 1,595 grams. So that was a difference of 155 grams between the rim brake and the disc brake frame, and they're both the same size frames. They're extra large frames. So if you take off obviously the difference, where you got the difference between the two bikes themselves, so when they was built without the pedals, so that was 535 grams, the difference between the two. So we can take off the 155 grams for the frames, and then you're left with 380 grams difference. So that's ignoring the frames. So obviously you can take away the fact also that things like they both use, say, aluminium stems, the same stems and the same handlebars, but the seat post on the disc brake bike was a larger diameter than the rim brake bike, so there might have been a slight weight, slightly heavier there, so that counts to the weight. And obviously the disc bike used an Ultegra R8000 front cranks, and the rim brake was the Dura-Race, so obviously you can knock a bit of weight off there for that as well, so that's another saving. Obviously the rear derailleurs were the same. Obviously disc brake, it's got disc wheels on it, so they're going to be slightly heavier, but those aluminium wheels, and so the aluminium wheels on the rim brake bike. So the actual difference in things like through axle, say, and quick release, so there's another difference in the weight. So the actual weight of the group set itself, all in, probably you're only talking about, probably I'd estimate somewhere sort of around 250 grams ish for the actual the group set itself. So the difference between obviously the disc brake bike having hydraulic shift levers, and then the calipers and the discs and things like that. Now obviously you could get the weight of the disc brake bike down by putting Dura-Race, say Dura-Race levers, calipers, it had Dura-Race discs on it already, but then, and also the front cranks, the crankset on it, and obviously you could put a Dura-Race rear derailleur on both of them as well, but the weight comes down evenly. You could get lighter disc wheels, but then again you could get lighter rim brake wheels, so there's always going to be a slight, it's always going to be around sort of probably about 200-250 grams heavier, because obviously, like I said, you could lighten the rim brake bike as well, and you could lighten the disc brake bike a lot, obviously, so it's always going to be just around sort of the 200 grams mark, I reckon. But so like I say, some people say they're a lot heavier, this and the other, but they're not actually that much. There's not actually that much in them, really. I mean, 200 grams isn't a lot unless you're going for pure out and out race times, etc., which most people aren't. All they're doing is riding a bike for just the pleasure of riding. So unless you're out and out racing a bike, sort of over 100 miles, things like that, you know, then you might notice it slightly, but there's not a lot in it really. It's a climbing, say, they're just going to be slightly heavier on that, going up hills. But then if you're just a recreational rider, then obviously disc brakes are handy to have if you use your bike in the wet, say, because they'd be better stopping on the discs and on the rim brakes in the wet, not in the dry. I don't think there'd be any difference in the dry between them, to be fair, not a lot. And obviously, say if you was doing a long descent like the Alps or something like that, and you add carbon rims, then obviously it just gives you a bit of extra reassurance that your rim's going to stay in one piece, because obviously you can use disc brakes, so obviously you haven't got to worry about the pads on the rims or anything like that. But I'll say, for the amount of time that you're actually braking, if you consider how much time you're actually braking in a ride, say if you weren't coming down the Alps or anything like that, if you're just out on your normal weekend loop or whatever, the amount of time you're actually braking is hardly anything. In a 2-hour ride, you're probably only actually touching the brake, you're only actually braking for probably, I don't know, not even 5 minutes of a 2-hour ride. You're probably only braking for literally a couple of minutes on a 2-hour ride. I would estimate something like that. Depends on where you live, obviously. But you know, say you're not going down massive descents and you've got to stop. You've got to keep on braking for corners, obviously. So you're not actually using the brakes as much as you think, really. But I say discs are handy in the wet. They definitely got their place for that. If you're riding in the winter, or you're coming down the Alps and you've got carbon rims. But so the actual difference in the frames, in the actual weights, it doesn't come out a lot. You know, you can get some really light disc brake bikes if you want to spend an absolute fortune, but the average person's not going to spend £6,000 to £10,000 on a bike that you might ride, I don't know, three times a week or something like that, 3 or 4 times a week. It's just, there's no point. So I'll say they have got their place of disc brakes, but I'll say I always ride if it's racing, I'd always be riding rim brakes. I wouldn't bother with disc brakes. For the extra, the weight, say the extra 250 grams, say that's 250 grams you're not carrying about, so you haven't got to worry about, like I say, you're not braking that much to worry about it really. If you're riding on closed roads, say, then they're braking even less. You haven't got to even worry about stopping at junctions, you haven't got to worry about cars up in front of you, or you know, anything coming up, pedestrians, this, that and the other. So you're braking even less if it's closed road situation. So therefore disc, I'd always be choosing rim brakes over disc for that reason, because you know, let's face it, it's not every day you're coming down the Alps to worry about it. So I just found that interesting, that there's not a lot of difference in the weight really. So if you found that interesting anyway, give the video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Until next video, ride safe and I'll see you then.